Hey, it's Mike Brennan, and Matt and I took a little break, and in fact, he's taking another break today. He's with his granddaughter, and it's summertime, and the living is easy, but occasionally we have to do a little work. So we're back with MITech TV with my business partner on MITech News, Melih Oztalay, who is sort of my mentor for AI, and he's got some great things he's going to be talking about here with AI. He's going to be talking about creating content at scale with AI tools, measuring success, AI's impact on marketing metrics, and of course, AI mistakes to avoid. Haven't we done those? So, Bailey, go ahead and start with at the top and work your way down.
Hey, Mike, good to be on the show again. We're going to continue the AI topics on this show. We're going to build on the previous, geez, how long have we been doing this? A year and a half on AI, I
Well,
think.
I think so. Yeah,
Somewhere
somewhere
in
in
the
that
neighborhood. It's been a
ballpark.
while.
Yeah.
We've been doing a monthly show on AI for a year and a half. And so each time we're, trying to take a look at what's going on in the marketplace. Trying to take a look at how it impacts business. Um, how does business take advantage of AI? And I thought we would kind of hit on a little bit more specifics for this show, in which we're talking about using AI to create content. Now, the first thing people think about in this case are blog posts, which is great, but actually you can use AI for your video, you can use it for your social media, for your email marketing, and a variety of other methods. I'll get into those here shortly. And but more importantly, I think it's important. I think businesses need to wrap their arms around AI and say, yes, I'm going to do it. I think our biggest problem, our biggest hindrance right now is the fact that businesses are still avoiding the use of AI. And we have to think about the fact that you look at it from a competition standpoint. Your competition is moving forward with AI. You're not. Your competition is trying to figure out how to be more efficient with AI, and you're not. Your competition is able to leap ahead of you in the marketplace because they're using AI. And the reality is that you need to get on board and start using AI as well, especially in your content creation. And so that's kind of the basis here for today's show. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, I'm going to kind of move on here.
No, I'm a convert. I took one of those AI courses myself, and I'm in the middle of learning how to do it. It's like 40 modules, so I got to weave it into my schedule. But yeah, I learn something new every time I take one of those, review one of those modules. It's just amazing what it'll do.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm in ChatGPT all day long to help me be more efficient, take care of routine tasks, things that I need to do, but I wouldn't have time if it wasn't for ChatGPT. And listen, if you don't like ChatGPT, go to Gemini. If you don't like that, go the Copilot. Don't like that, use Claude. Use all four of them. Use them, right? And that's our
Well,
main thing.
each one has kind of a specialty thing that it does. Claude's what more of a graphic kind of arty kind of thing, for instance, would you say, or
Well,
not?
actually, yeah. I mean, Claude does have a different set of capabilities. Like I said, I would, if you wanted to do some type of personality assessment, as an example, Claude's cool, really good at that. Some very interesting things that Claude will do. Whereas, if I want to create a blog post, I'll go to ChatGPT. Um, you know, uh, Copilot is already integrated into so many tools from Microsoft that it's hard to avoid Copilot at this point. And so, from that standpoint, you got AI wrapped all around you. Never mind the fact that there's so many new tools that are coming on. So, anyway, let's jump right into content creation tools. The idea is that if instead of just producing 4 blog posts a month, how about if you were to able to produce 8 or 12 blog posts a month? So what are some tools that you're going to use? You're going to use ChatGPT. You might use Jasper. There's another tool out there called Write Sonic. Those are your tools to create the text copy. Then what you're going to do is the visuals, Midjourney, Canva, Dolly, right? These are some tools out there that help you facilitate the visuals. I think these are very important in terms of ways for you to be more efficient and effective in content creation. The idea is how do you use these in a factory line, in concept, so to speak. And I think that's where you want to kind of move towards. Now, when we talk about creating an assembly line of content creation, right, we're talking about the ideas. So, which means that you need to understand how to prompt the AI to give you what you want. And this is another reason why you need to jump in the ChatGPT and use it daily, because you're going to learn that if I say things this way, it gives me one set of results. But if I add more details and give it a paragraph, for example, it gives me a whole nother set of results that are more in line with what I want. Just a simple question, a simple sentence doesn't always do it. You got to kind of build on that a little bit. And so I think this prompting process is important. I think you want to be able to use these tools to create drafts. You want to be able to use these tools to create the branding. So you're going from ideas to drafting to visual development and the final result. Four-step process for content creation, basically.
There we go. Okay, so let's move on to point number two.
Correct. So basically, what we're now talking, and maybe it might be helpful to give you a case study with one of our clients, right? So what we did was use ChatGPT to develop the drafts. We use Grammarly to do the refinement in terms of the grammar, the sentence structure, and the readability. Then we'll use Midjourney and Canva for the visuals. And then the last step of our process is to do the final quality assessment, which is what a human being does. And as a result of how we do this nowadays, we're able to produce 3x the amount of output or content creation that compared to when before AI was on the market.
One of the things I've also noticed is in the beginning, you could instantly tell you're reading AI because it would use words we don't typically use in conversation. Um,
Exactly. Right.
but just move beyond that now. You can't. It's maybe the image I can kind of tell
Oh,
AI
we're
images.
way
Yeah,
beyond
but
all
the,
that. I
but
agree.
now the
Yeah.
content is so sophisticated. I mean, it's got all the writers and journalists scared to death. So.
Hmm. And I don't think it needs to be that they're scared to death. I think they need to use it to help speed things up. At the end of the day, time is money. We are in a capitalist um, environment. We're trying to figure out how to make money, and this is a tool that you really can't avoid. That's the reality. But anyway, let's move on. We've created our content. We've gone through these four steps. We're using these different tools that are on the market. Now we need to figure out how do we measure whether what we have done has some success. And so a few items on this would be um, the different, yeah, I guess what we should do is just jump right into what are the different tools on the market, right? And so if we think about the tracking process, we're talking about engagement metrics, we're talking about conversion metrics, we're talking about SEO metrics, and in this case, I mean GEO, generative engine optimization. And then we're also talking about what we call CRO metrics. In other words, conversion rate optimization using an AI tool to help you increase the number of leads coming from your website. So you got four different metrics that we're talking about in this case. Um, Now, what are the tools that you're going to use? So you got all these data points, right? And using these four areas that we just talked about. So obviously we have Google Analytics. Great. That's one set. We have Google Search Console, which unfortunately a lot of companies don't use. And that's unfortunate. I think they need to. And the third one that I'm going to suggest, which used to be called Google Data Studio, which is now called Looker Studio. Unlike Google Data Studio when it first came out, Looker Studio is a much more robust tool. It allows for all these data points to come in. You can run them individually. You can run an analysis on them. But these are the types of tools that you want to use in order to figure out what's working and what's not working. How is it working? That's the other thing. How is it working? Is it working to the level that you're expecting? And so what we do with, for example, we use Looker Studio quite a bit. What we're doing with Looker Studio is creating a dashboard for our clients that's AI driven. And we're able to take these different data points and bring them all together into one source and be able to take a look not only at a summary level, but then look at each module, each section separately. Now, one thing I will suggest for everybody to do, and this is a freebie for the show, you go to use Microsoft Clarity. Microsoft Clarity is free for all businesses. It's cross-platform compliant. You can doesn't make a difference which platform you're on. And I think you're going to find that tools like Microsoft Clarity will help you better understand visitors, website, heat maps, what's working, what's not working. You tie that in with your Google Analytics, your Google Search Console, and your, all the different tools, marketing channels that you're using, and you've got the necessary tools in place to be able to decide what's working, what's not working, and what your ROI looks like based on that.
And then, of course, there's AI mistakes. There's got to be a whole bunch of those, right?
There are a lot of those, unfortunately. And I think this goes back to this. If you're just using AI to use AI without a strategy, without some type of plan, number one is you're going to end up not using it well. You're going to get frustrated and it's going to feel like it's not working. And so, first step is figure out what you're going to use it for and find a starting point. Don't try to figure out what your end point is. Find a starting point and then build on it. And yes, it will take time. But I can tell you that if the longer you wait to start, the harder this is going to be. And so some of the basic things is over automation without human oversight, meaning that you need some people use it over the top and they're just thinking everything is fine. I don't need to look at the details here, run it through and send it off, right? That's not going to work. You need that QA piece that I was mentioning earlier where you're going to have the quality assessment. Um, Another scenario is you're using AI in such a way that it's not in line with your brand, right? That's a problem. You're publishing inaccurate information because you're not looking through it. You're forgetting about the copyright. You're forgetting about the legal use of AI generated images or content. Keep all these different things in mind. I think all of this is going to have a huge impact if you're not doing it right. Don't expect just because you're using AI that everything's just going to work right out of the gates here. You need to be able to have the QA process where you're running your prompt testing, you're doing human editing, and you're doing alignment checking with your brand, your tone, and is this going in the right direction? I think these are some examples without making things too long. But overall, if we take a look at today's show, we're talking about different ways of doing content creation. We're talking about measuring your success, taking a look at a few of the AI mistakes to avoid. And like I said, one freebie I'll give everybody over here is go to Microsoft Clarity and start using that tool for your website.
I read an interesting article recently. I don't know how familiar you are with the DC Comics Iron Man series, but
Hmm.
Iron Man has this AI whatever voice they call Jarvis that essentially
Yeah,
is his private secretary or whatever you want to call
exactly.
it, assistant,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right,
Uh,
exactly.
would that be an example of trying to overuse it? Hang on, break. Would that be an example of trying to overuse it, do you think? Or is that the future?
No, well, I mean, to the extent that we're talking about Jarvis in the DC comic movies, think of that Jarvis being about 5 years ahead of where we are today.
Huh.
And that Jarvis wouldn't necessarily be overused. It would actually be in direct support of what we do on a daily basis, managing multiple things simultaneously and giving you a result in a matter of seconds.
Yeah, the other thing I've been reading, and we've talked about this before, is there's a recent story we published that we picked up from some other services where the CEOs are finally admitting that AI is going to eliminate a large part of their workforce. And
It
more and
will.
more, people are scared to death, particularly like coding. I mean, I know a lot of coders that
Hmm.
cover technology.
Yep.
AI can do that, right?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I can tell you, I go to ChatGPT and it helps guide me through things I can do in my on my MacBook Pro in the terminal. Scripts, commands that I wouldn't know, and it's able to run me through these things very, very quickly.
Yeah. So
Definitely,
I guess the message is get on board or get left behind, right?
I agree. That's the message for today.
Any final thoughts before I let you go?
Um, no, I would say that, listen, if you want to reach out to me, connect up with me on LinkedIn, number one. Number two is I suggest for everybody to tag me on LinkedIn. I've got a decent sized network of 22,000 close friends. Whatever reaction I do, my comments, which are fairly robust, and my hashtags will help get your post more visibility, and I'm happy to do so.
You might want to spell your name because I know there's like a half a dozen of you on LinkedIn, right?
Right. Uh, so anyway, first of all, I'm the only Melih Oztalay on LinkedIn, I guarantee you. But my first name is M as in Mary, E as in Edward, L as in Larry, I, H as in Henry, and my last name is Oztalay, O, Z as in Zebra, T as in Tom, Alay.
And your company is SmartFinds Marketing.
Smart Finds Marketing. You can check us out on smartfindsmarketing.com.